What's going on, Comicbook.com? Liam Crowley here at New York Comic Con, where all of our coverage is being presented by Whatnot, and I am stoked right now because I'm joined by some vocal talent, some directing talent, and some writing talent from the upcoming movie Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. How are you guys enjoying Comic-Con so far?
It's awesome.
Really cool stuff. Have you had the chance to walk the floor at all?
Heck yeah. I'm already I'm spending money.
Yeah, he's already bought everything.
I'm already like looking down there. I'm like, yes, over there and over there. Yeah.
Incredible stuff. Well, Ron, I want to start with you. You're no stranger to the Mortal Kombat world. You voiced Scorpion in Mortal Kombat 11, the video game. This movie, you're obviously voicing Sub-Zero. Can you kind of walk me through some of the differences between approaching these characters?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's just awesome to be playing both these iconic characters. For the game, MK11, you know, Scorpion's journey has always been revenge, basically. So there's layers of that between the three different Scorpions that I voiced over on that. So that was one journey, and then Sub-Zero's journey and the animation was awesome. Like for me, this is the Obi-Wan kind of guy, but he's not Obi-Wan yet in the beginning of the film. He starts off rejecting the journey. It's kind of, for me, you know, if we were to equate it to like Marvel, like it's more of the Logan storyline in the Mortal Kombat world, where it's a little bit more intimate. There's a heartbeat that goes through it that's, like, for me, very special and unique, and yeah, I mean, it still encapsulates the violence of the Mortal Kombat world. But to me, those are the kind of two different journeys, but they're both special in their own way.
Awesome. Everyone obviously knows Sub-Zero from this world. Kira, a bit of a new character in terms of fandom. Only one person has voiced this character before you, Courtney.
And we killed her.
I was going to say, whoa, spoilers.
Just getting into character, sorry.
Of course, I love it. Well, I wanted to ask you about kind of the differences of approaching this character when it's only been brought to life once before. What are some of the things that you found easiest, and what are some of the challenges that were posed?
The easiest, I think, is trying to find the balance of not being I guess that's sort of a challenge too. It depends. Right? It's both a challenge. It's like a gift, and it is to find that that line of not just being like one note violent. I loved that in the breakdown that they said, you know, she had this streak of mischief to her, and so that was like easy for me to dial into. I think the biggest challenge was coming back to do my pickups and having to do pickups to the actual fight scenes, because they're so detailed and choreographed. And so even working in video games, this was a whole new level of being, you know, having to follow along and imagine that you were doing a bunch of stuff that I would never be able to do in my life.
Rick, you have so many Batman-related stories to your credits in terms of filmography and things like that. Obviously, Batman and Mortal Kombat, different characters, but the fighting style can kind of be interchanged. We've seen these characters cross over in Injustice before. Did you approach this film in particular with any type of, you know, inspiration from your Batman credits before?
No, I mean, I think it's just generally you have experience doing those things, so you're going to naturally bring, you know, some of those elements into what you're doing. But I mean, the key to me is finding storyboard artists that can bring something new to it, you know? So I had a bunch of great guys that I was working with on this that, you know, they imagine these scenarios, these fight scenes. They really bring them to life, and I'm kind of there to guide them to make sure that you know, it's hitting the right beats, you know, emotionally, even within these fights. I know they're very violent, but they have to tell a story, and so you know, that's my role in this as a director, is really to guide them and make sure that you know, the things that need to be hit are hit, but it can't all be me. I need other people to come in and bring their views into this, and, you know, and their choreography and stuff like that, you know.
Good to hear. Jeremy, one last question for you. You've directed a lot of Mortal Kombat Legends before this. Have you checked off all the boxes in terms of what you want to do with this? So what have we not done so far?
I can't tell you. No.
Can't tell.
No, I mean, it's such a vast universe, and as Rick and I got involved in it, and we talked to Ed Boon and Dominic, and they would say, like, you don't know how big, like they would say, you don't know how big this is. I'm like, come on, man, it's not that big. And then suddenly you get into it and you're like, oh, this is really big. This goes everywhere. And they've had so many games and so many creative minds behind it. So Rick and I realized it's like, this is like this never-ending spider web of stories that you could tell for individual characters. And when you really get into the individual characters and see how many of their bios are written out, you're like, each of those could be a movie unto itself. Even when we were putting together this one, and we thought about Sub-Zero, but then you read Kenshi's bio and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to see that on screen. You know, how can we put these together? How can we put all these storylines that have been, you know, maybe a cutscene in video game, how can we bring that to life in a dramatic
And
fashion?
expand on
that
it.
people will really enjoy, while remaining faithful enough that people will be like, oh, I get what they're doing, you know, and being excited about it. So it was a challenge, but I haven't even scratched the surface. I could be doing these forever. You know?
Very, very cool to hear. Well, this movie comes out on October 9th, so no spoilers, but can I get all like a little one-word tease of what we can expect in this?
Apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic. Ooh, that's a new one.
I'm gonna say violent.
Violence.
OG badass.
I know it's 3 words, but it's definitely time to die.
I like the collection we got there. Thank you guys so much for talking with me. Snowblind coming out on October 9th, and be sure to keep it locked to Comicbook.com for all your New York Comic Con coverage.